Good morning. There we go. Excuse me. Hitting that. All right, here we are. Let's go. All right, Chad, are you here? Is anybody here yet? You guys just knock when you get here, okay? Let's get our puzzle set up. Alrighty. Good morning. Welcome to the office. Time to get rocking and rolling. No more screwing around, guys. I don't think anyone's here right now. Let's see. So first things first, we need to get our branch set up. So let's do get checkout B. And we are going to be solving day 3, part 1. Yeah. We'll push that up. And then let's go ahead and open our good friend NeoVim. Let's get a new browser window open here. Get some Excalidraw. Just in case we need to scribble. Excalidraw has become a critical point of failure in my workflow. And that goes for hobby projects and professional ones. And then we're going to use the AOC CLI. So let's cd into, or let's make a directory called 03 cmd 03. And then let's call our AOC CLI. And let's download day 3. We'll put that in 3. Put that there. Yeah. Dude, that CLI tool is so good. It's so simple, but so good. And let's go ahead and set up our solution. It looks like it's going to be a nice quiet stream this morning. Good morning, Suhas. Man, long time no see, my good sir. How are you doing? It has been a minute. I hope you're doing well. It's not going to be a quiet stream because I'm here. Dude, I don't mind you being here at all, man. Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, super well. No complaints, man. There's really nothing in my life I can complain about. Like last night I was sitting there watching some football, eating, I don't know what I was eating, some Sam's Club chicken nuggets and just, just being extremely grateful for all the good stuff in my life and my health and my kids' health, and just I've nothing to be sad about or down about. Sorry, I was answering some comments on my YouTube videos. I got distracted. Yeah. What about you, man? How are you doing? Suhash, you good? Yeah? No complaints? Just school and all the regular stuff? Alright, so we'll need to have a package called main test. We are going to import the testing package. And then we're going to do func test solve part 1 with example input. Uh-oh, what happened to my music? What is Advent of Code working on this project? Oh, nice. I'm guessing you're saying you're working on projects, which is great. Suas, I did not realize you dropped out of college, man. If you told me that, I forgot. So what are you doing now then? If you're not doing college? Also, Advent of Code is like 24. Well, this year it's 12 days, but it used to be 24 days. It's basically 12 puzzles, like leak code, data structure, and algorithm style puzzles. But they have like kind of a Christmas theme. So there's like a running story over the course of the puzzles, and like you're helping advance the story by solving the puzzles, which is kind of fun. If you're a nerd who likes the holidays, it's right up your alley. All right, now we just need to go build that function. So package main function solve part 1. File path is a string. This will return an int. We'll return 0 for now. Whoops. I'm not writing TypeScript. I'm writing Go. We need to import this guy. So do solution is going to be equal github.com/Stephen Freeborn /advent of code 2025 CMD 03. Let's try to run that. Go test CMD 03. Making projects for your portfolio. Nice. All right, I think we're ready to. I just had my pre-caffeine for the caffeine that we're gonna make later. But I think we're ready now to figure out what the problem is. So somebody told me part 2. Somebody in my Discord was telling me part 2 of day 3 is really tough. So I'm hoping part 3 or day 1, part 3 is not terrible. All right. Oh my gosh, I just sprayed myself in the eye with orange juice. Ow. That really hurt. Okay. You descend a short staircase. You descend a short staircase, enter the surprisingly vast lobby, and are quickly cleared by the security checkpoint. When you get to the main elevators, however, you discover that each one has a red light above it. They're all offline. Suas, don't laugh at my pain. Also, I still don't understand why YouTube has a top chat and a live chat option. What's the point there? Just show me live chat all the time. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. You can laugh at my pain. It's fine. Sorry about that, and Elf apologizes as she tinkers with a nearby control panel. Some kind of electrical surge seems to have fried them. I'll try to get them online soon. You explain your need to get further underground. Well, you could at least take the escalator down to the printing department. Not that you'd get much further than with that. Not that you would get much further than that without the elevators working. That is, you could if the escalators weren't also offline. But don't worry, it's not fried. It just needs power. Maybe you can get it running while I keep working on the elevators. Like what a helpfully unhelpful elf. Here's a way you could fix your problem, but it's probably not going to fix your problem. Thanks for the sub, Prakash. The stream is pretty quiet today. Yeah. We like those, though. Those are good. Sometimes it's nice to have a quiet morning at the coffee shop, you know what I mean? Good morning, Bradley. How are you? I hope you're doing well, sir. Hope life is treating you very well. Alright, there are batteries nearby that can supply emergency power to the escalator for just such an occasion. The batteries are each labeled with their joltage rating. I wonder what this takes. Wow, that's a callback to 2020. That's cool. That's hilarious. I would love for Eric, the guy that makes this, I think it would be one of the coolest things to have him do a workshop sometime where he talks about like how he handles the puzzles and how he produces them, how he makes them, how he writes the story, you know what I mean, and how he organizes it all. Like, it would just be cool to have like a behind the scenes of AOC. Yeah, chaos is best served cold. Oh, I don't know about that. Bradley, Friday night finished up the work week. How's Advent going? Oh yeah, you're in Australia, aren't you, Bradley? I forgot it's Friday night for you. Whoops, I just missed that person's sub. Advent's going well. Yeah, we're actually having a lot of fun. I'm behind everybody, so I'm kind of like hearing. I'm trying to avoid hearing too much about any of the puzzles, other than just like the difficulty level. I'm trying to avoid all the spoilers and stuff. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Nikita, I'm gonna replay your sub. Nikita, excuse me, Nikita. Thank you for subbing. I appreciate that. But yeah, it's been a ton of fun. I can't believe it's December 1st. I mean, we're gonna be at Christmas time before we know it, and I'm just trying to savor. I'm just trying to savor the holidays. You know, the holidays are just. It's always a good time of the year. Okay, the batteries are each labeled with their joltage rating, a value from 1 to 9. You make a note of their jolted ratings, your puzzle input. For example, blah blah blah. The batteries are arranged into banks. Each line of digits in your input corresponds to a single bank of batteries within each bank. You need to turn on exactly 2 batteries. The joltage that the bank produces is equal to the number formed by the digits on the batteries you've turned on. For example, if you have a bank like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you turn on batteries 2 and 4, the bank would produce 24 jolts. You cannot rearrange batteries. Okay, I think that's a good thing, because I think if you could, it would make it far more complicated. You'll need to find the largest possible joltage each bank can produce. In the above example, in this number, or in this bank, you can make the largest joltage possible with 98 by turning on the first 2 batteries. Then 8 and 9, 89 jolts. You can make 78 by turning on the last 2 batteries, okay? And then in this one, you can make 92. The total output joltage is the sum of the maximum joltage from each bank. So in this example, the total output joltage is 357. There are many banks in front of you. Find the maximum joltage possible from each bank. What is the total output joltage? Okay, so I guess let's copy this to my example file. I think so. Initially, off the top of my head, my idea is, but I think there's some fault in my logic, but here's my initial idea. So let's take one of the banks that they have. Hey, good morning, Vets Improv, and how are you? I choose 2. How's the progress looking on the problem? Yeah, so far we're just getting started, but so far progress is exceptional because we haven't actually tried to solve anything this morning. We're just kind of getting the lay of the land. Um, but I choose 2. Also, I don't know, but I seem to see way less humans here than usual near this time. Yeah, we're just having kind of a quiet morning. You know, it's the coffee shop's a little slow today, and so we're just kind of enjoying the peace and quiet and doing what we normally do. You know, I don't worry too much about the viewership count. Never have, probably never will. Um, I mean, like I told you guys, my stream largely started out of the fact that I was already sitting at my desk working on this stuff, and then one day I was just like, well, let's turn on the camera. So it's totally okay if there's not a lot of people here. If you are here, though, I appreciate you. Ab Irado. Ooh, advent of code. Yes, we are doing advent of code. I'm actually going to be I'm going to be far behind everybody. So I'm taking the 24 puzzles or the 12 puzzles, and I'm extending them to 24 days. So I'm doing 1 part per day so that I can get the full advent experience. And it's also much more manageable for me just with having a job and a family and whatnot. Trying to solve 2 parts in a day can be pushing it. It was pushing it last year and it was pushing it the year before, so this has been much more manageable for me. Okay, so here's my idea. So basically, I can only arrange the digits moving left and right. So I guess so I can only, I can't put 45 on the other side. I can't put 5 on the other side of 4 to make 54. I would have to do 45. So my thought process is, for every bank, we are just going to loop through. And I guess the first thing is find the highest number moving right. And then once we find the highest number moving right, yeah. Or no, maybe we should find the highest number moving left first. So this would be 5. Yeah, I guess that's my initial thought. Is first we find the highest number moving right. Then we find the highest number moving left. And so now we have 2 numbers. And then we can just see which, so basically we have the 2 highest numbers. And we just need to figure out their indexes. So if this number, I know that this is what index is this? So this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, so this would be, so if I have the 4th index and the 3rd index, the one with the lower index always has to come first, I think. It doesn't seem like it's quite right. Seems like there's some cases where that might not work, if I'm honest. But this is where my brain is going. I think that there's a condition where I could technically find the number that I want to put in the tens place. I don't know. Let's start with parsing, and then we'll start with parsing, and then we'll do the logic solving part. But that's my initial thought about the puzzle so far. Okay, so first things first, we're going to get our input by doing file.read all lines and file path. We probably should have a method that's stream all lines because we really don't need that. The way this puzzle is written, we really don't need to load every line into memory right off the bat. We could actually just go line by line. So maybe that's an optimization. I'll just write a little note here to do. Implement a stream lines method in the file package. I feel like that could come in handy for other problems. Chad, WTF, Chad Evergy. If Earth is not flat, then why Australia people does not fall into sky? Well, Chad, let me take you back to physics. Let me take you back to Isaac Newton sitting under a tree and an apple falling on his head. Palo Comper. I guess greedy selection algorithm. I don't even see this is the problem. I don't even know what that description of the algorithm. I don't know, but I am guessing you're probably right. So I just don't have a very strong I didn't go to school for CS, and I don't have a very strong background in doing like LeetCode code style problems. So I never really know the name of the thing that I'm supposed to implement. I just kind of stumble upon it. That, or I get so stuck that I have to go to the Reddit threads and ask them for help. Azzy, teach me SailPoint and KeyCloak. Well, I'm familiar with KeyCloak, but I'm not familiar with SailPoint. What's that? SailPoint? SailPoint platform helps organizations manage secure access to critical data in applications. Huh. So it's like an identity management tool? Why would you use SailPoint and KeyCloak? Why wouldn't you just use one or the other? Of course, they have some sort of agentic user on their website. I'm surprised it doesn't say SailPoint AI. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with this, so I probably would not be the right person to teach you this, Azzy. Yeah, not me. Good are probably completed in... Oh, you're talking about your project. So we have our input, and then I think I'm going to do a similar thing that I did yesterday. So I'll basically loop over each one of the lines in the input. Oops, range. And I think what I'll do is I'll have a total. And that'll start at 0. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a bank, and I'm going to have a bank package that has a from method that takes in a line. And then I'm just going to do something like this, where it's equals plus. Oops. And this will just be bank dot joltage, and then the bank will do all the logic for the joltage. So let's go ahead and build that package real quick. Bank.go. We'll do bank test.go like that. And then also, I don't have any coffee yet. Somebody yesterday in my Discord said that caffeine is like doping for Advent of Code, and I thought that's hilarious. Like, that was one of the better jokes I've heard about Advent of Code, or an Advent of Code related joke. And then I said, so I'm basically like the Alex Rodriguez without being good at it. Minister of Defense. A fellow Zen user. Yeah, so I started using Zen. Well, actually, someone in chat recommended it to me one day. And I started using it because I like the fact that it's super, like I like the fact that I can basically hide the top nav bar and the left sidebar. Historically, I've been an Edge user for the last couple years, and you can sort of kind of get to this experience in Edge, but you can't get rid of the top bar completely. So that's why I started using it, because I just like the aesthetics of it. And then I have kept using it because it's kind of nice to have one browser that I use for stream related things and another browser that I use for everything else, which is kind of nice. Kind of keeps like a separation of church and state a little bit. Azzy, then please teach me Keycloak. So Azzy, can you explain what you're wanting to learn about Keycloak? Because Keycloak is something you can just run in a Docker container in a self-hosted environment, and it's basically like your own little Okta, right? It's basically like an identity provider that allows you to basically have set up and manage users' roles in groups, essentially. And it's very, at the very minimal, it's got a lot of functionality, but it's very, very minimal. It's like an identity provider. I don't know if it was Minister of Defense that recommended it. I'm not sure who recommended it to me. Oh, Suash, you said you did. Okay. I don't remember who it was, so if it was you, thank you very much. What is it representing? A bank of what? Bank of batteries. And then we're going to have a type called bank that is of interface. And it's going to have a joltage method that returns an int. And then we're going to have a type bank, which is a struct. And this is going to have cells. And I think I want to treat the cells. As numbers, I think. So I'm going to do a slice, or not slice, an int slice like that. And then I'm going to have a method called func from, which is public. And that's going to take a line, which is a string, and it's going to return a bank, or a bank, uppercase bank. It doesn't return anything for now. And then we're also going to have a function that has a receiver type of bank, and this is going to be our joltage function. And for now, it's just going to return 0. But this is where the solution primarily is going to live. So return 0 for now. And just return a bank struct for now. So now I think everyone, we have to do bank test, function, test from. I think now if we run this again, we should still, undefined bank, we need to go and import that into our main.go. Now if we go up here and we do this again, it should all run now. Cool, so it all runs. Now we just need to actually do the implementation part of joltage. Yeah. Steven, can you explain to me the problem? I accidentally skipped that part. Oh, the problem is essentially, here's the problem. So, the problem is basically you're given a line of numbers that look like this, right? And you have to go, kind of like what I was trying to go through here in the whiteboard, but you have to basically go through and figure out what are the two numbers that will give you the largest joltage. Okay, joltage is a very technical term in the Elvish community, I guess, at the North Pole. This is how they measure power of their batteries. But basically we have to find the two numbers that give us the largest voltage. So in the string that you see on down below here, that would be 9 and 8. That's basically the problem. And so my initial thought is that we can just find the largest number moving right and the largest number moving left. And then we can just compare, like we can only put based on we can't flip them, right? So if we find 8 and we find 9, but if we found them switched, like if we came from left to right, and we found them switched, then 8 would have to go in front of 9. So that's my initial thought. The only I think there's an edge case though where you could find the largest number after. Yeah. This isn't I know this isn't correct, but I think this is the beginning of what I need to do. My other idea right now is, the other thing I have in my head is maybe we could find the maximum and say let's see. We want to maximize the value that ends up in the tens place. That's basically what we want to do. This is what we want to do. We want to maximize the value that ends up in the tens place. So my other thought is, let me copy this. My other thought is we could find the maximum, right? Then wherever the maximum is, we look to the left and we look to the right, and we find the highest number to the left and we find the highest number to the right of whatever the maximum is, because we know we can't ever have anything higher than the one number. Then in which case, if we find the number again, well, then we know we have found the highest. If we find something lower on the right, why would I need to check back left? That's the part that I'm thinking of that I can't think of. I need caffeine. I need to cheat. I need some caffeine. Apparently caffeine is cheating in Advent of Code. I had no idea people felt this way. Okay, so let's just do the from method first. So if I was given a, let's see, expected equals int. Are there any other constraints? Why don't we solve that and just pick the top two numbers? Because the order is important. The order in which they appear is important. So you can't just pick the top two, and you can't sort them. You can't change the order of the bank or anything like that. You have to deal with the bank the way it lays, and so you have to go through and figure out which batteries in the bank do I want to turn on, and the number on the battery is how much they will contribute to joltage. So you can't find a 9 over here and then 8 over here, and then flip them and say 98, right? You'd have to say 89. One, two, three, 4, 5. Okay, and then let's say we go here, and we do input is going to be equal to 1, 2, 3, 5. Which I guess there's probably a way. Strings dot join. Well, that sucks. How would I do that in Go? Go join a slice of numbers into a string. Strings.join, okay. But I have to convert it? That's so annoying. That really is annoying. But for this, let's just do a string. If this was a test that I was actually gonna like add to an actual code base, I'd want to derive the input probably from the expected or the expected from the input. That way, if I ever make a change in one, I don't have to change the other. So we'll do results equals bank dot from input, and then we'll say if slices dot equal results and expected. That is false. Oops. Then we want to t.arrf, and we want to say got %s, but wanted %s. Results expected. Now if we run this is going to fail. Why didn't that work? Oh, this would be bank.cells. Which is going to be a slice of int. And we'll do func b bank cells slice of int return b.cells like that. How do I not? Should this be V maybe? Can't remember how you print a slice. What's this complaining about? Test from passes lock. Oh, yep. I wonder why it's not picking up that other test. Go test thing bank. There we go. Okay. So now let's actually implement that. It should be pretty straightforward. So we'll do cells equals int, and then we'll do for I for a character we will range over our line. If I could figure out how to write code. See, percent plus v, go print a slice. I did percent v, is that the same? What's the plus do? Suhas. Then create a duplicate of the list, sort them, then go to the right, find the second biggest number, then put it in the stack. Compare all the numbers. The like goes to the highest numbers. Having our answers pretty high. If you want the highest number, a heap is good data structure for that. It can sort itself in log in. Well, nice. So also, I appreciate you offering ideas. I'm going to just solve it the way I think it might be solved. So you're welcome to hang out here and follow along. But the problem is in the description on my stream. So if you want to take a stab at it yourself with the ideas you have, go for it. So we'll do num is going to equal to stir convert dot atoi. We are going to convert the string of char, and then we are going to say cells append num, and then we're going to say cells equal to cells like that. I think this will get us there. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah, I don't necessarily know if you're wrong or right, Suhas. But I don't want to let your idea for a solution poison my idea for a solution or like distract from my idea. But you could try to go implement the thought you have in mind and see if it solves it. All right, now we need to test func, test joltage, testing.t, and let's just get one of the tests from our input here. So we have this guy. So we're gonna do input is this, and then the bank is gonna be a bank from our inputs. That, and then we're gonna say results is equal bank dot joltage, and the expected value. What is the expected? The expected is 98 is the joltage we expect from that case. You get 98. And then let's just return, or let's say if result does not equal expected, then we will fail out and we will say got %d but wanted %d, that, and of course this is going to fail, right? But now we can start to implement. So if we were following Chris James's recommendation in Learn Go with tests, the simplest way to make this pass would just be to say 98, right? That would be the simplest way to get it to pass. However, now if we add another case, that's not going to work. So let's go back and let's revisit our test here. And let's make our test table. We'll make it a table-driven or data-driven. I think he called it table test, but I usually call it a data-driven test. So let's have a set of test cases, which is going to be a slice equal to a test case. And then here, we're going to have an expected field, which in this case will be 98. We're going to have a bank. And I think that's all we need. Like that. So bank.from. We'll have our nice big input from here. We should be able to delete these now. We'll declare a type test case, which will be a struct. It can actually be a private struct. We actually don't need it to be public to the world. And then we'll have a bank, which is of type bank.bank, and then we'll have expected, which is going to be an int. And then what we'll do is we will, instead of just doing this all here, we'll delete that and we'll say for I, and we'll say for test case, range over test cases, and then do this. And this will be, instead of that, it will be test case dot bank. And then this will be test case dot expected. Test case. So now it makes it much easier to add additional cases here. We can just add one in that slice and we'll be good to go. Hello, I Love Lamp. How are you? You're new here. I'm just kidding. Good to see you, man. How you doing? Anyway, what is your implementation? I don't know. Minister of Defense, why are you using an interface? This is a pattern. I don't really know if this is like a Go pattern or an anti pattern, but it's something that I started to do where, like I'm basically looking at the bank package almost like it's a class in C#, and I don't want to expose the underlying members of the actual concrete bank implementation. I just want the outside world to know about an interface. That way, theoretically, I have freedom to change the underlying implementation of how cells gets returned to the caller or how the joltage gets returned to the caller without basically breaking anything. As long as I keep the method name and the signature of the method the same, I can change anything about how we calculate joltage or how we calculate cells without necessarily being concerned I break someone. So it's just a layer of abstraction. It's just kind of a pattern that I settled on as I was learning Go. And I kind of like it. I know it's not necessarily, like I said, I don't think it's necessarily how people do this in the Go world, but this is just something coming from a C# background. I ended up there. Structs are not classes, so it's not a good pattern. Hope I'm not being offensive. No, I don't think you're being offensive at all. I guess I'm curious why it's not a good pattern. Because to me, encapsulation is usually a pretty good thing. Having a very small API surface area that you can control, to me, is a good thing. Which is basically all this is doing. It's basically, I mean, what's the difference between returning an interface versus returning the actual concrete struct? Like, to the caller, they can access all the same data, right? Like if I was returning an actual bank that had if I made this public and then I made this, right? The only difference to the caller is instead of calling methods, they'd be calling a field here. They'd still be calling a method for the joltage. So I don't know. I guess I would be curious to hear your reasoning for why you think it's a bad pattern. Like I said, I'm not from the Go community, so. Go is data-oriented, not object-oriented. There is performance cost and potential for indirection. See, you're kind of giving me mixed messages compared to what other people have said, because other people tell me Go is a procedural language that has the ability to both write functional as well as object-oriented code. And I'm curious, what's the performance cost and what is the indirection? There's no indirection because I don't want people to know about anything other than the only thing they need to know about a bank is you can get cells from it and you can get joltage from it. So I don't know why there would be indirection in this case. Like the caller doesn't need to know all the internals of the cells and the joltage calculation. I mean, I guess we could benchmark it. We could implement the solution with the interface, and then we could remove the interface and just return the struct and see what the difference is in the benchmarks. I like it though. I like it. I'm okay. I'm okay if other people don't like it though. That's okay. What was I doing? Oh, I was going to add another test case. Interfaces have a runtime cost. That's why structs are for modeling data, not modeling behavior. Well, that's interesting. It's interesting that you say that. Then why does Go allow you to declare funcs on a struct? Like, why can you associate functions with a struct? And why can you mutate the fields of a struct? Right? If structs weren't designed for modeling, if structs were only designed for modeling behavior or data, why did then the designers of the language then give you a way to encapsulate behavior to the struct? Because that's what a function that has a declared receiver is doing. It's like, oh, let me have some private fields in this struct, and let me define some public methods off of this struct that can return those private fields, or it can mutate those private fields. So to me, I don't see I think the way I understand it is not the same as the way you understand it. Yeah, I think we have different understandings of what these words are and what they mean. Like, for example, like if you weren't supposed to use structs to model behavior, you shouldn't be able to do this. Right here. That shouldn't be allowed. Right? I could also do this. I could make this a pointer, right? And then I could actually append things to it. So now I can mutate the state. Well, no, I'm not I'm not thinking you're invalidating me. I'm just trying to share the fact that I just don't see the stuff you're saying about Go is what I've heard other people say about Go. But now that I've spent 35 days writing Go every day for 2 or 3 hours, it seems to me like the designers of Go very much made a procedural language, and they gave you functionality to sort of do programming however you want to do it. Like, if you want to do functional programming, great, do that. If you want to do object-oriented, great, do that. Like, it doesn't seem like a functional programming language. It seems very much more like a general purpose, fits either paradigm language. It's a C thing. It's not really a part of a struct. It's a pointer to a function similar to a C pattern. Well, yeah, but now you're getting off topic though, because what I'm saying is that encapsulation, meaning combining data with behavior, is a hallmark of object-oriented programming. And if structs are not supposed to facilitate that, if structs are not supposed to facilitate modeling data and behavior, why did the designers of the language allow functions to be associated with structs, and why can those associated functions then mutate and change the data held within private fields in those structs? Because that to me is a hallmark of how you design object-oriented code. Not to beat this as a dead horse, it's just I have yet to see somebody offer a good alternative explanation to that. Bradley, I've been a dev now for 2 years. In my free time, given the 40-hour work week, I rarely want to spend my time doing further coding. Do you see this stunting my career progression? No, I don't think so. I mean, I think there's a lot of developers who just develop for the profession, right? They get really good at what they do and they do it really well and they deliver a lot of value to their company, and through that value that they deliver to their company, they advance their career. So no, I don't think so. I don't think there should be an expectation in any field that you need to spend 40 hours a week doing that work and then you need to spend another, I don't know, say another 20 hours in your free time also doing it. I don't think that should be a thing. Suhas, paste in the link of the problem, please. It's in the description of the stream, Suhas. I love Lamp. He's just chatting with Minister of Defense, only we are being so ignored. Me and Suhas. Oh, God. Yeah, Steven's ignoring me. I love Lamp. I'm not ignoring you guys. It's just you guys aren't talking about the same stuff that Minister of Defense and I are talking about. Inspire. Rage baited successfully. I understand. I came from Java. I thought you at once too until I tried to use this pattern in production. Sorry if I'm sounding pedantic. I think it's best to learn a language in a way that makes sense to you. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, again, like I haven't written any Go code that went into production, so I will happily take your word for it if you say don't do this if you have a production scenario. Inspired. By the way, you are going to enjoy today's part 2 and day 4 part 2 also. So somebody posted in Discord that part 2 of day 3 was pretty nasty. So Bradley, thanks for the reply. Of course, man. Yeah, I know it probably feels like there's pressure to do that, Bradley, because, and I feel that pressure too. It's just the things are changing at such a clip, right? You have everything that's going on with web dev. You have everything that's going on in the AI space. You have everything, you know what I mean? There's just so much happening. And then at the same time, if you're someone like you who's actually working for a living and is trying to do whatever your day-to-day entails, it's like, what thing do I pay attention to? Totally get it, man. Difficult. Good morning, 199. How are you? Silas, a lot of people say that coding should be a passion, but I disagree. If you only code for the money or paycheck, it's totally worth it as long as you do something fun in your free time. 100%, yeah. There's no rule that says you need to write code because you love it, right? Most people don't love their jobs. Most people do their jobs because they have a financial nut that they need to make every month or every week or every 2 weeks. And that's what keeps them showing up. Like, most of us are animated by our economic circumstances, for better or for worse. So I don't think there's anything wrong with just doing what it takes to earn that living, and then it's your life. Do whatever you want in your free time, you know? Inspire. Actually, all parts after day 3 are pretty good. Nice. My brute force was taking approximately 90 years on today's part 2. Well, I'm not very clever, so I might need some help from Reddit to solve the day part 2 then, because most of my solutions end up being brute force. Good. I'm still Pythoning. Nice. Practice funds and projects start soon. Awesome. What's practice fundis? What's FUNDIS? Made the switch to Linux. Nice, nice. Nice, very good, very good. I've been coding for 20 years. I still am really bad at leak code and don't ever want to be good at it. Yeah, I'm not, but I don't want to say I'm bad at it. I want to say, just like any skill that I haven't spent a lot of time and effort on, I could probably be much better at it if I did dedicated effort to it. Like you said, Minister of Defense. It's like, but it's a deliberate choice that I haven't put a lot of time and effort into it. So if I wanted to be better at it, I just need to make it a priority. Yeah, 100%. I like the advent of code stuff though, because I like that it's holiday themed, you know. It kind of like, I don't know. It's become a way to mark this time of year. All right, this is going to fail obviously now. So now we need to make this pass. So what do we do here, right? So we have access inside the joltage method. We do have access to the cells. And so my original idea was kind of, I think my original idea for the solution can fit this case. Where's the case? Yeah. So my original idea was, yeah, my original idea was to basically look from left to right. Well, I guess we couldn't we go over the loop once, find the two highest numbers, and then just based on their index, smash them together? So like, here's my idea. Let's see if this works. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's like, Steven, you're so dumb. This is so simple. How could you not know how to do this? B dot cells, right? So we're just gonna loop once. And so we're going to say max is 0. And then second max is 0. And so we do a check that says if, oh, we actually what I want to do is I actually want to do we do like type struct cell. Well, this needs to be private. Also, we should probably take a break and make coffee here in a minute. So I just want to be able to track the index. I guess that this is, we can also call this the position, but I'll do index. And I want to also be able to track the value, or the value. This is int. This is int. And so this is going to start at like this. And then we say something like, okay, so if max, or if C, that's the value. So we'll do CI and CV. So if CV is greater than max dot value, then we return, then we set the max to a new cell that has a value of CV and an index of CI. Okay. Then we say if CV is greater than max, or second max dot value, but less than, well, and less than or equal to max dot value. Then we say that's the second one. I think there's an edge case though that this doesn't cover. And I don't know how to express what that edge case is, but it's something. There's something there that I'm not. Okay, and then when we concatenate them, let me think about this logic really quick. It's format.println max.value second max.value. I think we want to make sure that these aren't the same, right? So that's the thing we want to check here is we want to say I think we want to say CI does not equal max.index, meaning it's not we haven't found the same number. So it's not the same index, and CV is greater than, yeah, hold on. So we want all those checks, but then we also want to make sure that CI does not equal max dot value. No, this isn't going to work because we're going through number by number by number. What do you mean it's not used? Oh, I just want to reassign. Yeah, this won't work, but yeah, we don't want 9. I always try to be clever instead of just making the dumb brute force method. Well, that's probably, though, putting effort into the clever solution is probably worth it because it seems like that comes in handy a lot later on. Steven, it gets a bit annoying if you are really humble. Being humble is good, but oh my god, I'm valid. Everything gets annoying. Huh. Are you saying I'm annoying? RAM prices really be making me RAM prices making me really upset. Well, good thing I haven't had to buy any RAM lately. I just did AOC day 1 part 2 and I realize how dumb I am every time I do AOC. Yeah, I don't think it's dumb though. I think it's just like if you don't do a lot of those types of problems all the time, you don't recognize the patterns, right? And I'm sure there's somebody who read the description for part 1 of day 3 that I'm working on right now and was like, I know exactly what this is testing because I've solved it, X number of times doing LeetCode. But in my case, that is not the case. So I don't know why it's interesting that I'm getting 9. All right, let me simplify this a little bit. So we find the max. Yeah, we find the max. I'm gonna do this in way too many iterations to start with. So we find the max. That definitely 9 is the max, which is great. Now once we have the max, I want to find the second max, and I'm just gonna iterate twice just so I can keep myself straight here. This is what I thought I was doing earlier, but maybe I wasn't. So what I was trying to do earlier was I was trying to say if the current value or the cell value that we're currently on is greater than the second max value and the current index that we're on does not equal the current max's index value, right? Because we don't want the same number twice. And the CV needs to be less than or equal to the max that we already have. Because we can have duplicate numbers. We can have 9, 9. They just have to be in different spots in our bank. Not max, second max. Nope. That's not right. Oh. That's good. So I would expect 9, 8, 9, 8. I think both of these problems have they both have an 8, 9, so they're just inverted. So the thing is, let's go how do I go back? FB. Okay, so the thing that I want to do now is I need to actually get the value. So the way I do this is I say if max dot index is greater than second max dot index, meaning the max comes after the second max, then we need to return format.sprintf, and this is going to be %d. So then we have to do second max dot value and max dot value, right? And why are you unhappy? Oh, because we want an integer. That's fine. We can have an integer. So we'll do value equals this, and then we'll just parse that, and then we'll say value as num equals string convert dot ATY. I still don't understand why that is the method name it is. And then we'll return value as none. We need to do that twice actually. So if that isn't the case, then it'll be like this. I know there's a little bit of duplication there. We can clean that up. And then the only difference here is these will be swapped. Okay, so that passes. I think there's though an edge case that this doesn't work with that has to do with the ordering of when I find the max and the second max. It also requires iterating twice, which is not ideal. I think there's probably a way to do less iterations. But let's see if this works for the rest of our example test cases. Let's see. And then we also need to go make some coffee because I've only had one shot of espresso. 32 gigabytes of DDR5 is almost 400 pounds here. Ooh, that's expensive, man. That's expensive. Derek, hi everyone. Just started learning Go in September, my first language. It's cool to see someone working in Go. Helps. Yeah, I just started learning too, man. I'm 35 days into learning Go, so I'm right there with you. Yeah, I'm not fast either, so Thunder Deer. I'm not fast at it at all. What the fuck, but RAM was so cheap just a few months ago. What about DDR4? I don't keep abreast of much of the computer hardware pricing. Jeffrey Mart. Yo, these problems from AOC 2025 start out hard. They do, Jeffrey. Dude, day one punched me in the face. Everybody told me it was like, oh, it's easy, man. No problem. And then day one, part two? Yeah, day one, part two really took me way too long. Like, way too long for a day one problem. But we got her done. I had to what I ended up doing for day one, which spoiler if you haven't done day one, spoiler coming. But what I ended up doing for day one, what part two was literally changing the dial click by click by click with a for loop, just click by click, and then every time I would change the click, I would check. And so when I went right, whenever I turned the dial right, I have to go back and look at my code. I think whenever I turn the dial right, I correct, and then I check for 0. And whenever I turn the dial left, I check for 0 and then correct. That way I avoid double counting the 0. But yeah, it was a pain in the butt. Yeah, I resorted to the brute force. Yeah. So people have sent me, I guess there's some smart modulo arithmetic that you can do. You just have to handle negative numbers a little bit straight, oddly, but people sent me some examples of how they solved it, which I love seeing that people are smarter than me. It's good to know the world isn't depending on my intelligence. Thunder Deer, exactly what I did. Yeah, that's where I landed too. I could not. It was the landing on 0 and then starting from 0. That was what in part 2 just had me hung for way too long. 78. Let's see if that one works. Missing new line before composite literal. Did I not write that out? Oh, I didn't write that out. Okay, so it still works. Okay. Is this going to be one of those things where it works for my example input but doesn't work for my puzzle input? Bank dot from, and then we'll do expected. What was the expected? 92. This might be the one that gets me. There's no way this is right. There's no way this solution actually does what they want to do. It's too simple. See, we got 89 but wanted 92. Okay, so this is good. So this must be one of the cases. Yeah. See, so we're always starting from the. Since we're always starting. We always start at the beginning, right? And so. I mean, the maxes are 9 and 8, right? That is the max. But the problem is 89, while it is the largest number we can create by finding the highest and the second highest, we can create a larger number by finding the highest. Okay, so this is the exact case that I was thinking about on this one, right? Where what you're really trying to do is you're really trying to maximize the value that ends up in the tens place, right? And so what you really need to do is we still need to find the max. We still need to find the max. But I think what we need to do is we need to look right of. So let's just talk about the problem case, because I think this will make sense if we look at it more concretely. And chat, I know, like, you guys are smart, so whenever I'm talking like this, I hope you never feel like I'm being condescending, because I know you guys are super smart. I'm more of just rubber ducking out loud. I'm not trying to like say that you guys don't understand, so please don't ever take it that way. So right now what we're doing is we find this number. I'm gonna have a different colored arrow. And this is gonna be, let's make it Christmas colors. We'll do green. Okay, and then let's do so let's do tens, and let's do the ones, and we'll do one. We'll make that red. Jeffrey, they cut it in a half the amount of problems. I mean, man, for someone who was used to the easy hard progression, that was a hard awakening. Yeah, for sure. By the way, the second largest must start from where the first max is found, and that's why that last case most important one to look at. Yeah, exactly. So that what you just said is exactly what I was thinking. Is that what I really need to do? Is I need to. So the red arrow is looking for ones, and the green arrow is looking for 10. So what I really need to do is first we need to go through and we need to find the highest number, which would be the number that we will put in the tens place. That's always going to be the maximum. Then what we need to do to find the ones place is we actually need to look left. Well, we need to look right. Yeah, we need to look right. But I don't think we only need to look right, though. Do we only need to look right? Yeah, I want to think about that for a second. Yeah. I think okay, I think we should do two things. We should look right. We should look right, and then we should look left. And we should find the highest number to the right, highest number to the left. And then we can do a comparison to figure out, okay, if I use 9 in the tens place, is it the maximum number, or if I use 9 in the ones place, is it the maximum number? The other check I think we need to do is, since I already know 9 is the highest number, if I find another 9 somewhere on either side, it's immediately that's the right answer, right? That's 9 is it, right? So if I have but that's not always the case though. So if I had 7 and I immediately find 7, well, that doesn't mean there might be a 9, or there might, yeah. So I guess there is an optimization we can do with the number 9, where if it's 9, then we can see if we find another 9. But I don't think that matters that much. So actually, let's make coffee and then we'll implement the fix, I think. So, but before I walk away, let me write my thought here. So here's the logic I think we need to do. So to do, we still need to find the max. However, we should then find the next max to the left of the max of the highest, and find the next max to the right of the highest. We should then see what the largest number we can make is. I hate it when the snippets pop up when I'm trying to write a comment. The large number we can make with these values. So if we go back to our concrete example really quick, if we followed through with what I said, we would find 2 over here, and we would find 8 over here, right? So we'd basically have, we'd have an 8, and we have a 2 over here. I'm sorry if the drawings are pedantic, but they help me think about the problem a little clearer. So we do this. That's still 3. That's still, I think, 3 iterations, though. I mean, that the either side probably are not as big of a deal because it's just much smaller to look at. But so then what we would do with these 3 numbers is we'd say, okay, I can make 92, right? Or I can make 89. Or I think that's it. Those are the 2 numbers I can make. And then I just need to see which is higher. I don't know. I can't think of a situation where looking left would lead to I don't know. I can't think of a situation where left would lead. But in this case, our answer would be 92. That'd be our answer. Okay, we'll come back and implement that, but we're gonna go make some coffee now, chat. I gotta go set that up. Derek, I love the drawings. I think that's such a good idea. Yeah, the drawings are helpful to like visualize the algorithm that you think you want to write and step through it in a concrete example. I actually have been wanting to tell you guys about this creator I found on TikTok. Um, her TikTok account is growing like crazy. Let me see if I can find her handle. I'll show it. I'll put it up on the screen. Let's see. This is so her name is her username is Terabyte. I don't know if you guys can see that. Terabyte. I'll try to link to her, but she is really good at explaining computer science and like algorithms and stuff, and I've really enjoyed her videos. Her videos have been very, very good. So let me grab her. Let me see if I can find a link to her TikTok, because if you're trying to learn this kind of stuff, I think it helps to have somebody who's good at explaining it. And I am not good at explaining it. Tara, I don't know if she has a YouTube channel or not. There you go. This is her LinkedIn. This is her TikTok. I just put that in the chat there for you guys. Super good. I think she used to teach computer science at some big university or something. So I think that's why she's so good at it. But never hurts to have a nice long list of folks who can help unconfuse you about stuff. Lastrin, I'm absolutely clueless watching these streams, but it's fascinating. Well, we're not. I'm not much further away from you, man. I'm not much further away from you. Oh, I don't know why I'm putting this up. I'm gonna bring you guys with me to make coffee. Never mind. Well, I'll just leave it up to show off. Jeffrey, so battery bank first max index. Yeah, Jeffrey, you're gonna solve the problem for me. Quality edge case is 99, so you have to stop the tens loop when you find a 9. Okay, good deal. I'll keep that in mind. Pablo, you can brute force part 1. Pablo, see ya. Oh, you're leaving? Bye, Pablo. It was good to see you, man. Derek, solid name, pretty good. Oh, Derek. Yeah, I mean, it never hurts to have somebody who's easy on the eyes, is it? I missed a lot of chat. Hold on, I'm trying to catch up. I just did Santa at a school event. Nice. Good for you, Ducky Dev. Also, good to see you, man. It's been a minute. Hope you're doing well. You find 9 first, then for the second max is whatever is higher after the first max. Okay, Jeffrey, thanks for the help, man. Appreciate you. Martian Place. What is the best way to learn? And how old are you? Why are you learning DSA or LeetCode? Why? Do you even need to give coding interview to get into job? So let's see, Martian. The best way to learn, I think, is by spending a lot of time writing code. A lot of time solving problems with code. I think that's the best way to learn. If you're super early, something like Free Code Camp, it can be very, very helpful because it kind of puts you on rails. But once you get through kind of one or two of those programs that kind of put you on a set curriculum, it's, you know, then you want to go solve problems. The only reason I'm doing DSA or LeetCode style stuff is because I'm doing Advent of Code. I don't typically do much with DSA or LeetCode myself. I usually like to spend the time I have to devote to programming on actual projects most of the time, but Advent of Code is a fun holiday thing I do. How old am I? I'm 32 years old. I'm a 32-year-old dad, happily married. I live in Kansas, and I like to make content on the internet. And right now, that content is about coding. Derek, 35 days in, you're cracking AOC problems. I'm like 60 days in and barely getting a concept of methods and interfaces still puzzle me. Dude, your journey is not mine and mine is not yours. And also, I think you said this is your first programming language and this is like my fourth programming language that I've picked up. So I don't think you can compare apples to apples there. All right, I think I'm all cut up. Derek, appreciate the resource team. Of course, yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. Super helpful. Pablo, oh, I thought you were leaving for coffee. No, I forgot that I'm going to take you guys with me. So we're going to go over here and we're going to make some coffee. But real quick, I got to make sure that's all set up. One sec. All right, we're flipping. Ready? 3, 2, 1. To the coffee. Turn off this mic. This is the coffee we're making today. All right, here we go. This is honestly the best part of the whole entire stream is getting caffeinated. I also need to pull up chat. All right. Good morning, Rampla. How are you? Good to see you. Let's get the water going. Derek, oh, this is your fourth? Totally my first language. I was like, how is this man doing this? Yeah. Don't judge yourself against my journey. You're on your own thing. Comparison is the thief of joy, as they say. But Go seems like a nice language. I can't wait to go back to writing C# though. You know? I mean, I write C# every day, but it'd be fun to go back to working with it on stream. Just because one of the things I'd like to do is I'd like to help get more people interested in it as a language, especially like younger people. Oh, dude, this coffee smells good. Where's the card for it? The tasting notes for this are baked apple, Earl Grey, baker's chocolate, and berries. I love do they have like a random word generator that comes up with all these things? Baker's chocolate. What's the difference between baker's chocolate and regular chocolate? This is from Guji, G-U-G, or G-U-J-I. I don't even know where that is. All right. You're rolling a joint? That's hilarious. Well, I wish you all the best in your Warframe adventures.
Jeffrey, my bad. I got a bit too excited. No, I mean, I really appreciate the help. I want the dopamine hit of also, like I think we talked about yesterday that like programming and coding is more of like a dopamine addiction. So I want the dopamine hit of solving the problem. Grandpa, chill with the lo-fi music on. The background calms me down. Well, nice. Well, I'm glad we can set the vibes for your warframing adventures. I honestly can't believe it's already December 5th. The months and the days just go faster and faster. I can't believe my kid's on 9. He's going to be in 5th grade before long. I'm pretty much halfway done with parenting my first kid. It's crazy. Time goes faster and faster. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to go use the restroom, and then I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Is weed legal there? Weed is recreational legal at the state level in some places, but at the federal level, it's not. So you're kind of in like a weird gray area here in the United States. Yeah, C Sharp. I mean, C Sharp's pretty awesome. I'm very biased though. I think modern C Sharp gets a bad rap because of legacy C Sharp and legacy.net. And that's something I'd like to, through some of my content, help change. Not change. I mean, what am I trying to say? I would just like to I don't see a lot of people making a lot of content around C Sharp. There's a couple big names, but not many smaller creators. And so if I could help just encourage people. I mean, not everyone's going to like it, just like not everyone likes Python, not everyone likes Java. But if I could get 1 or 2 people to try it and them discover that it's their favorite language, that would be a huge success in my mind. All right, I think it's time to pour. You left your camera in the kitchen? Oh yeah, sorry, I did it on purpose. I went back to my desk just to look at chat. It's a little easier to read it than on my phone. I'd say Java concerns itself with stability and enterprise-grade support, while C# does the same. It also tries to appeal to a new audience. Yeah, I think that's something that the C# and .NET team has been working a lot on since .NET 6, .NET 7, when they introduced top-level statements. It seems like every release of .NET has been moving them closer to a node index.js experience where you can do something like .NET index.cs. and have a very so they're basically, in my opinion, C# and .NET has always scaled down or scaled up in complexity. Like as a project gets more and more complex, C# and .NET have a lot of tools to help you deal with that complexity in large code bases. But going the other way, like towards simplicity and minimalism, like they haven't done a great job. But in the last 3 or 4 releases of .NET, I think that's something they have made really significant improvements on. Because I think they know that, hey, most people who get into development these days, all right, we're done. We're going back to the office. Most people who get into development these days, their entry point is not C# or Java. I think for a lot of people, especially coming out of kind of the boot camp era of 2020, a lot of people's entry is JavaScript or Python, right? Some sort of dynamically typed interpreted language. Hey, chat, will you get back in here? Okay. Let's get in here, chat. Let's go. We got work to do.
All right, we're back. All right. Today's Friday too, by the way. Something to be excited about. It was coffee time, and now it's back to code time. But yeah, coffee time is always fun. The coffee, I mean, we're having an awesome month of coffee. So if you're new here, you may not know this, but I bought a advent calendar that is basically a different specialty coffee every day for the first 24 days of the month. It's from this company called Onyx Coffee, and it's been delicious. We've had a lot of African coffees, a lot of coffees that were grown and harvested from Africa, which has been kind of cool. This coffee is from a place they call, I don't even know how to say it. GUI coffee. Ghee. This refers to coffee grown in the Gui zone of southern Ethiopia. So this is another African coffee. So this is actually from Ethiopia, or a region in Ethiopia, which is where coffee comes from. That's its birthplace. It's good. I don't know if I taste the exact flavor notes that they describe, but it's good. I love lamp. Did you look above? Look above. I love lamp. Jesus. Do you have Discord recap? I sadly don't, which is too frustrating because I had the stupid privacy option on. I think I do have Discord recap. I think it showed up in my Discord app the other day. I haven't looked at it. I dismissed the notification, but it should be there. Day 4 and 5 are not that hard. I was surprised. Well, if I can get by day 3 part 2, you're telling me I might have a couple days. I don't know. You told me day 1 was easy, Pablo, and then day 1 smacked me in the face. so that just shows difficulty is very relative to skill level. All right, so I need to do something like this still. So we still need to find the max, right? And then we need to go, we want to start at the left and go up to wherever the max is. Then we want to start the next place from the max and go to the end. So let's do second max. Second max left. No. Max left. Okay, so what's that going to look like? So max left is not going to range over the cells. I mean, I guess it could. I guess I could take a new slice, couldn't I? So I could do something like max.index. something like this. Although, I think that's another allocation though, right? So like that could be something somebody could look at and be like, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't make a whole nother slice just to iterate it. So this is 3 loops, but they're looping over different sections. So then this is going to be start from max dot index plus 1 and go to the end. And so then this would be max right. And then we do max right. So let's just see if we're finding the numbers we would expect. So for now, we'll break all the problems and we'll just return 0. And we'll say format dot print line max, and then we'll print max right, max left, this. We'll do max right. We'll just see what we're getting. Okay, so I fucked up. I fucked up something with the iteration. Oh, this should be max left dot value, max right dot value. Let's try again. Okay, so 9. So this is a case. This is the case we were looking at, 9. So max to the left is 8. Max to the right is 2. Although here, I'm not sure what's going on here. Nine, 8. Is there an 8, 7? I don't remember what all my test cases were. There's a 7, 8. Yeah. So then we just need to use the index to figure out what we put first before the other. I think. How is .NET runtime on Linux? It's good. Yeah, .NET works everywhere, man. Yeah, .NET. I mean, that's kind of been a long-standing misconception people have had for a while still, that .NET is still like a Windows-only thing, but it's not. It runs everywhere. Six, 7. I wonder if they did that on purpose. Okay. Well, this case is kind of interesting to me, right? Because this is where we basically need to say, okay, well, 8 is the max, right? But if you combine it with something to the right, you get nothing. If you combine it with something to the left, that's the actual value you need. So this doesn't actually need to go in the ones place. It needs to go in the tens place. So what we need to do is we just need to build those numbers and then check. Is what I think we need to do. So at this point, we have the numbers that we need. So if we go back to our drawing, we're at this point where we have the numbers, and now we just need to build these numbers. So this is 9 acting in the tens place, and this is 9 acting in the ones place. So I'm going to do max as 1 or as tens. How about I do max in tens place, which would be a format dot print or sprint f %d. So max is going to be max max dot value because it's in the tens place, and then the ones place always has to be the thing that's on the right of it. So max right dot value, and then we'll do max in the ones place. Max dot, oh no, sorry, max left dot value. This is going to be max dot value. And now we need to parse these. So we need to say max in tens place as a number. I know that's a long variable name, but bear with me. And then we just need to see which is higher. So if, or I guess, yeah. We don't have ternary statements, do we? So we do, if max in tens place is greater than max in ones place, we need to do these as numbers. As number. So if we do this, return max in tens place. Otherwise, return max in ones place. I think? Oh no, we'll see. Let's run our tests. It got 90, but wanted 89. Got 80, but wanted 78. Oh, indexes. Oh no, because the indexes are off because I sliced them. Damn it. I knew there was a problem with how I sliced it. Fuck. That's so... Yeah, so these indexes aren't going to be... I can't trust... Can I? I feel like I should be able to trust the... Actually, the index doesn't really even matter now if I do it this way. Did I flip these? Let's continue to print these. Print line. I shouldn't have deleted this stuff. Max. Format.print line. Max left. Max left. So we got 90. Yeah, but this is invalid. These are invalid. Yeah, so basically, if the value is 0, we shouldn't consider it as a potential value, basically, but we are, because that's just the default of my. Yeah, so I actually think I can get rid of this cell construct. I don't think this is necessary anymore. And I think what we can do is let's just set this to -1. And let's set this to, what would this be? Max equals CV. And then max left equals CV. Oh yeah, start this one at -1 too. And then start this one at -1. Although we might need to, if we want to get rid of the ranges, we might need to max left. No, max right. Oh, but that's how I was locating. Ah, fuck. Okay, never mind. So what we'll do is we'll do this. We'll leave that so we can track the indexes. We'll leave that there. What we'll do is we'll just initiate the cell value to -1, like that. So this shouldn't parse. My idea is basically by it being -1, when we try to concatenate it with the number, it shouldn't parse. And so we should get 0 back. And then hopefully that will take care of our issue. So I'm hoping. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I think now we're ready to try this on our test and see if we get the expected value back. So we should be calling this in main.go. Yep. And our expected should not be -1. Our expected should be like 3 something. 357. 357. Alright, moment of truth. Hey, let's go. Okay, so we solved it for the example, but now we need to see if it actually works for the input. You may get in or something like that. Yeah, that's what I figured is I think it actually returns, I think that parse method returns an error or the default value, and I think the default value is 0 for integers. So because it can't parse it, it just the value I'll look at, it will just be 0. Hey, Artwork Studio. Sorry, I was kind of locked in there for a second. How are you doing? Oh, you have a lot of accounts, Artwork Studios. Don't you have like Artwork Studios, and then you have some other artwork account, and now you have an Ethan Simu. Those are string shirt. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I fell behind on chat. Let me try to catch up. I think I answered everything. Which AOC day problem is this? This is problem 3, part 1 is what we're working on right now. Could have been great, but they put a 5 instead of a 6. Exactly, right? They could have, I mean, greatness. They were this close to greatness. All right, now we'll try to see if this works for the real input. I've had really bad luck so far this year. I think almost every day that we've solved, I mean, we've only solved 2 days, but every day that we've solved, I've had an issue where my thing worked for the example input, but didn't work for the real input. So let's see if that's the case today. Go test. Well, nope, that's the. I must not have written out the file. Solve. Yeah. Now go. Okay. So we got 17,113. Also, let me remove those print statements because that's ugly. Okay, let's see if this is the answer. Moment of truth, folks. Moment of truth. Drum roll, please. Let's go! Woo! Dopamine. Let it flow. Let the dopamine flow. No wonder I've been so consistent with streaming, because basically all I do during a stream is I get high off of caffeine and dopamine. That's no wonder I'm stuck on this hamster wheel. That's the best screensaver ever. Derek, nice, well done. Thanks, Derek. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's always fun when you get to the end. I'm gonna try to avoid looking at part 2 because I feel like I don't want to spoil the surprise. Apparently, it's very hard, or it requires some cleverness, which I'm in short supply of. One thing I would like to kind of do is one thing that I haven't really played with much in Go is this idea of Go routines and channels. And I think this is kind of an interesting problem where we could actually use those because basically each bank can be processed independent of the other, right? So theoretically, I'm thinking I could really basically run this in a Go routine. I don't know if it'd be any faster, but just to kind of experiment, I could run this in a Go routine and then just have the Go routine send back to me the joltage to the main Go routine using a channel. So I think that might be something kind of interesting to try to see if we can implement that now that we know what the answer is. So let's go back to main.test. And let's put that here. So now go test. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, so I think I'll try to figure that out. I think I haven't done anything with Go routines since we actually were doing the tutorials. And I think actually I could even make it better if I was streaming the lines in, right? So right now I'm reading the whole file into memory, but I actually think I could stream the line in, right? Line by line, and process the line. And then the only thing I would ever really have in memory is one line at a time and what any process associated with that, and then the number that's being incremented. So I think what I need to do is I need to make a channel. And I honestly don't think I remember how to do that. So let's do, I guess, joltage results, which is going to be equal to make a channel of int. Is that how you do that? I think that's how you do that. Okay. And then the total gets into, so basically we'd listen for the results from the channel, and I think that would be like joltage, and then the arrow I don't remember. Yeah, like that. And then we listen to joltage results. Or is it the other way around? Undefined joltage. I don't actually know. I don't remember how to do this. Is it like that? That looks wrong. That doesn't look right. Oh, I guess I think I can just range over it, can't I? Like I can just do 4 R range since it's a channel. And then I would down here would do total plus equals R. And then this stuff is the stuff I'd run in the Go routine. But it would be like joltage results. And then we would do like go func. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this from memory, but I'm not sure I'm doing it right. That looks right. So let's go ahead and see if we can. Yeah, I think that works. This is a cached result. So how do I? Oh, do I have to close the channel? I actually don't know what I'm doing wrong. Isn't it var joltage? I guess it could be. I'm doing something wrong. I do think I need to close the channel though. Do I do that in here? Defer. I honestly don't know. I don't think defer makes sense right there. Okay, I tried to. So we don't want to close in the routine. So maybe I close here after I make it. I mean, I know I could go and ask Gemini to show me, but if I could figure it out, I'd like to try to figure it out. Yeah, I'm stuck. So I'm hanging, I think is what's happening, is I'm permanently stuck on listening for the results. The problem is that all your Go routines use it. Yeah. Will you be able to close the channel? Yeah, so how do I do that? I don't remember. Let's go back, I guess, to Tour of Go. Actually, their site's not super searchable. I guess let's go with learn Go with tests and see. I guess I did not. This information did not stick. Okay, so how did they set this up? So they make their channel. Okay. This kind of looks like what I'm doing, doesn't it? Yeah, so there's my receive expression, there's my send expression. So what am I doing wrong then? Doing something wrong. You probably want to wrap your for loop in a function different to the one that consumes the channel. Oh, interesting. Is that, I mean, I guess that is what he's doing. Then he just calls it. He doesn't show himself calling it though, does he? Gemini. How do I, let's see. How do I implement a channel and initiate a bunch of Go routines in a for loop that send to that channel? I'm so half asleep right now. Well, go to bed then, man. What's up, Unique UX? YouTube had a recap of my top watch YouTube channels. You were number 3 for me somehow, dude. That's wild. But hey, man, I'm glad you thought of me. Let's see. To implement this in Go, you need to coordinate 3 distinct parts: the channel, the producer, and the synchronization mechanism, to ensure the channel is closed only after all Go routines have finished sending. This pattern is called fanned in. Interesting. So do I really need a... Oh, I think you were right, Pablo. If you forget to close the channel, the range loop in the main function will wait for more data forever. Since all workers are dead, no data will ever close, and the Go routine will crash with the deadlock error. At least that's what Gemini's saying. Man, this seems really like really convoluted though. I don't remember it being so convoluted. I do remember the wait group, but I wonder why then. I wonder then why in his concurrency chapter, channel. I wonder why he doesn't touch on that. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably because, see, he's looping over. He's not sitting there listening to the channel. I wonder what happens if we implement it this way with a loop. Right? I'm just curious. Now I'm at the point where I'm just kind of experimenting. So instead of like ranging over the results, what if I do R is an assignment from the channel, right? And then instead of doing what I'm doing here, we'll do for range length of input. I wonder if that does it. Yeah, that seemed to work. I wonder... Yeah, so this is just sits and deadlocks and listens if you're actually listening to the... I wonder if that was any faster, though. You know? So that was 0.362. Let me just copy that real quick so I don't... Let's copy this. Paste that here. let me put it back to what it was. Because I don't remember what it was actually before. Why is that cached? Oh, because I haven't written it out. I don't want to run the test with the cache. How do I like bust the cache? how do I bust the cache? Go test without cache. Go test without cache. Use the count equals 1. Go clean. Yeah, it's not really any faster. It's like the same speed. So I don't think it really gets us much, but it kind of looks cool. It kind of looks like we know what we're doing. Let's put it there. Oh, whoops. This should be part 1. I wonder if the input was large enough. If it would, you know, like I wonder, what if we do, let's see, copy this to like input dupe. And what if we made this ginormous? Oh, that's all the same line. There we go. Why is that? It's 30,000. Let's see what that does. Oh, we need to. I need to have both methods though. I need to actually have this like benchmarked or something so that I can easily run it against both. It ran fast. I mean, but I don't know. I just don't know how much faster it actually is. I think it would have to be pretty sizable to make a difference. And it's a lot of extra code. So I think I'm going to go back to my original solution. So delete this, go back to the main.go. Pull out the channel. We don't need that. We don't need this. We don't need that. And we can just do total plus equal bank.joltage. And we're good. Go routines are better for I/O than flops. Ah, okay, fair enough. That might explain it, because there's nothing here that's I/O bound. You can probably use that knowledge for part 2. That is a bit more intensive. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Unique UX. I was thinking last night. What were you thinking? What if the internet had community notes? Like we created Z-axis of the internet where you turn on an overlay and you can see other users' notes or threads across sites like Elden Ring. That would be baller. The problem I see there is that seems like something that would have to live at like the browser level. You know, you'd have to, that would be something I feel like that would have to live. Yeah, it would have to live at the browser level. Because how do you make the overlay available? I mean, or maybe you could have like an extension. I guess you could have like a browser extension that does that. It's kind of an interesting idea. I think Go routines can add overhead of not used property. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it would be an extension. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, it would be kind of an involved project, right? Because the extension would sort of be your client, and then you'd have to have some backend that stores I don't know, stores the notes by the URL or something, by the path or something like that. Could be an interesting project. Thunderbird. There's a browser, or Thunderdeer. Sorry, Thunderdeer. There's a browser extension that does that. It's like a chat room for each page with a little avatar. See Artwork Studios. Have a good day. The issue would be the amount of data and the moderation. You are making a huge social. I mean, essentially, right? You're creating this huge repository of data where people are just sticking their notes in. But not a. I mean, it's kind of an interesting idea because it is like it's just like a third rail. It is like a third rail or a z-axis where you have like the main content of the internet, and then you see like the thoughts of other people who have seen the same content as you. But it would only be really interesting if there was content to see when you turn that overlay on. So I think with any network, right, you have that. You have like the chicken or the egg problem, right? It's like, well, how do you make this interesting and valuable? Well, you have to get lots of people using it. How do you get lots of people using it? It's got to be interesting and valuable. But you could probably seed some of it, right? Some of the larger sites. Yeah, interesting idea for a project though, for sure. Two-man army. Hi man, just found your page. I'm a data engineer that is moving on to Python. I'll be here every day. I got a major task for my company. I'm scared. Well, I would love to have you here at the stream. There's no pressure to be here though every day. Everyone's got a life to live, so definitely no pressure to hang out in the stream. Very exciting that you're taking on a new domain or learning a new skill. I'm not a big Python person. I know how to write Python. I built a couple projects with Python. It was never the language that really clicked for me, but I still use it. And I just used it like 3 or 4 weeks ago to do a bunch of data analysis on some benchmarks that I had run with benchmark.net. So it's very useful. And if you're in the world of data engineering, that seems like a very valuable language to have under your belt. I think as far as the major tasks that you're scared about, maybe that's a good sign. I think they're scared where you're legitimately afraid, like you have a fear of like an existential threat. But then there's also like fear that kind of more feels like anxiety, or you want to do a good job, you care so much about the performance that you feel kind of scared about failing, right? And I think that fear can be, a little bit of that can be good because it can be motivating and it can drive you to practice and research and prepare, right? I think that's a lot of that kind of performance anxiety. Like I used to have when I played football all through school growing up. I played high school football. I didn't end up getting a chance to play in college, but I would always have horrible performance anxiety. But it was because I cared a lot about doing well and performing well, and I think some of that anxiety actually drove my willingness to prepare and to work out more and to put in more effort and put in more time. And so maybe that's something to lean into, you know. Either way, I think you're going to kill it. It would be great for tech teams or devs. It would feel exclusive. Yeah, I could see it being super helpful. Sounds like hacker news for the entirety of the web. Yeah, I could see it being even a useful browser extension just for your own personal use too, right? You're on a page and you have a thought, and so you capture it in your little browser extension note, and the next time you come back, maybe when you navigate to it, the browser extension automatically like kicks on the overlay and you can see what you were thinking about the last time you were there. I could see that being helpful. Steven throws shade on Python every time he uses it. He is like, this could be a builder constructor implementation options if we were using it. Could be a create data analysis builder .create. Two-man army. Yeah, I mean, I'm a junior, and we are moving on to cloud, and I have been tasked with which none of the senior wanted to do. They don't like Python, so it's a great chance to hopefully move up. That's awesome, dude. So that's wonderful. You got a project that you got ownership of and can set the direction of. I'm rooting for you, man. I would love to hear about it. Let us know. I've got a Discord too. You don't have to join, but we do have a Discord, and there's a projects channel in there. Obviously, I know it's work related, so you probably can't share specifics, but if you just wanted some encouragement or to share your wins or your progress or have somebody to help keep you accountable as you do stuff, you're more than welcome to join in there. It's fun to hear about what everybody's working on. Unique UX. Let's build it together. Leave Python alone. It's great for prototyping. Yeah, I mean, we could. The problem with me at the moment is I've got too many things I want to do at the moment. I've got this admin of code thing. I've got this idea for like a node-based editor for building integrations. I've got this idea for this coffee website I've talked about. I want to build a project to replace. I don't know if any of you guys remember mint.com. I used to use mint.com to manage my personal finances a lot. And since Mint went away, I wonder if their website's even still there. Yeah, so since Mint is no longer a thing, I would like to recreate some of the basic functionality in my own in my own solution. I think that would be a good project. I just have too many things I want to do, and not enough time. Not enough time. Derek, gonna go grind pointers and methods and go. Fun hanging out later, Steven. Yeah, see you, man. Oh, there's Discord. What is it? Yeah, Discord. Pablo just put the link in the chat. And then my schedule, Derek, if you want to know what my schedule is, I put that in the chat too, just for reference. Usually I'm live from like 4:15 in the morning to about 7. We could use TypeScript and Supabase, or we could use TypeScript and Convex. That actually would be fun. I've never built a browser extension, but I think Convex would be awesome to use for the backend. It would simplify a lot. There'd be far less we'd have to implement on the backend. I mean, Supabase is kind of like Convex. I prefer Convex myself. See you, Derek. Good luck with the pointers, man. Good luck with the pointers. Good old pointers. All right, I'm going to post this on Blue Sky. Oh, I guess I haven't solved day 2, so I probably shouldn't post that yet. Or part 2. What do I need to do? I guess I need to merge this, don't I? I still think this would be interesting to implement, so I'm actually going to move this to the files thing, and maybe I'll do that off stream. I think it'd be interesting to have a stream lines method, because I think there are some problems where you don't necessarily need to load the whole input into memory. You could just stream it in. And we need to update our README. How would you suggest to learn Python? Is DataCamp good? I actually don't know if DataCamp is good. Sorry for the question, I just want to level up. No, you're fine. Yeah, that's why I'm here. I mean, I'm here to chat with you guys. I don't know if I'll always be able to answer your question very well, but I'm more than happy to offer my thoughts. The recommendation I make for everybody on Python when it comes to learning it is I always recommend everybody start with PY4E, which is Python for Everybody. It's taught by a guy named Dr. Chuck. He's a professor at the University of Michigan, and he's taught Python to a lot of people over the years, and this course is completely free. You can find it in a few different places, but this is kind of the thing I always send people to. It's what I used. I actually used it through Free CodeCamp. But that's the course I would recommend. I like Dr. Chuck a lot because I think Dr. Chuck, I vibe with Dr. Chuck because Dr. Chuck seems to have a very like Midwestern approach to CS and programming and coding. He looks at programming and coding far less as a science and as more as a craft, which in my experience, the work of a day-to-day programmer is much more like the work of a plumber or a pipe fitter or a carpenter, and far less from like the intellectual heights of computer science. So he has a very good way of like breaking down the basics and explaining concepts in a way that are easy to understand and not using super flowery, overly complicated language. So yeah, I fuck with Dr. Chuck in Python for everybody. That would be my recommendation. I've never used DataCamp. Doesn't mean DataCamp's not good. Uh, that could also be a way. This is free too. Python for everybody's free. The course I want to take, the Python related course I want to take is boot.dev. Not, I know I already know all the languages pretty much that they teach, but it looks so fun. Somebody was in chat yesterday saying that they bought it and it didn't. They found it boring, but it looks like a blast, man. The whole like RPG fantasy like theme. And I'm pretty sure they teach Python is in the beginning, and then they have like they have a path for Go, and then they have a path for Java or TypeScript. Sorry. So at some point, I would like to buy this. I think it's kind of pricey though. It's like $50 a month, or like a couple hundred for the year. But maybe at some point. Right now, I think the next learning for me is going to be Rust. I started down the Rust path on Pluralsight, so I think I'm going to try to keep making progress there. Yeah, man, I'm trying to blow this project out of the water and get the respect in my team. Yeah, you do great, man. I would just focus on doing a good job. Let your work speak for itself. And, yeah, you'd be fine. I shoot a Python Essential with Cisco Learning. There you go. So chat's got some other great recommendations too. There you go. Unique UX Plus these days, you can just build in Python and have AI convert it to Rust. I saw a TikTok the other day of somebody saying that, of like, well, with LLM, why would I write anything in any other language besides the fastest or most memory safe language? And I thought, I mean, it's a valid take, but I still go back to the fact that if the LLMs were as capable at coding as everyone says they were, right? Now, hear me out, chat, and I want your honest opinion. If the LLMs, whether it be Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever, pick whatever model, don't care. Pick whatever model. If any of those models were as good and as capable as they claim they are, why hasn't OpenAI gotten rid of all their SaaS tools and rebuilt them all internally? Right? Like, why haven't they sent their army of agents to go rebuild Slack, rebuild everything, rebuild it all? Don't pay anyone for anything. You build all your own internal software that you need to run your company, host it yourself. You have plenty of compute from Microsoft. Like, what if it was that, if software engineering is dead and writing code and programming is going away, how come these companies haven't actually acted on that? Right? Or like, why didn't OpenAI build their own browser engine? Why did they build their browser on top of Chromium? They should have been able to just spin up 100 agents and built a browser engine in a week or less, right? So I kind of call, again, like, are LLMs useful? Yes. Is AI pretty cool? AI very cool? Yes. Does it allow you to port things from one language to another? Yes. But is it a replacement for all of this infrastructure we have around developing software? I don't think so. I don't think it's there yet. I think we got a ways to go. Pablo the borrow checker disagrees. No, that's my current rant. Is I just, every time someone's like, oh yeah, well, like, why do you need to write code anymore? Why do you need to learn how to program or learn to write code or learn to program? It's like, if that was honestly true, OpenAI should get rid of all their software development. They should only keep the machine learning people, and they should have all their agents do all that work. We should call AI AC or autocorrect. Yeah. Well, that's the two ways I use AI the most. I guess the three ways I use AI the most is I use tab completion, right? Obviously in my editor. I use the chat interfaces quite a bit to do like question and answer type of stuff. Like I'll ask it like this, for example. This is I use it like this a lot. Like, how do I do XYZ, or how would you do XYZ? Because I'm not sure. And then I use it quite a bit to do documentation. Those are kind of the three big ways I use it in my day-to-day life. Jeffrey, don't you love it when you get the 4 examples right, but then you get the wrong answer with the real input? Yeah, I hate that. And that happened to me on while solving day 1, and it happened to me on solving day 2. Day 1 was a legitimate edge case that I hadn't accounted for, or day 1 was a legitimate edge case that I hadn't accounted for, and day 2 was white space. Somehow I had introduced a white space character into my input that was breaking the final range that I parsed from my input. And that was the issue. And I was stuck on that for like 45 minutes. So yes, I hate it. And I forever have trauma from it. All right. Well, I think it's time to... Oh, I got distracted by ranting about OpenAI's use of their own product. See, we're on day 3. So what note do I want to add here? I guess the note I'd like to add is something like part 1 intuitively makes you think you only care about highest nums, but then you need to consider placement. Okay, cool. Oh, sorry, I was totally locked in. I missed your sub. I think I missed a couple subs, didn't I? Kola Wola, thanks for subbing. Grant, thank you for subbing, appreciate it. And then Caleb, thank you all for subbing. I know some of you probably aren't here yet, but appreciate you guys. Also, I guess people could subscribe and not be in the stream. I never thought about that till just now. Let's format this with the markdown prettier. Let's close that guy. All right, so git add, git commit, feature, solve day 3, part 1. Push that up. GHPR merge. Nope, GHPR create. And we'll merge that in. Success. Wonderful. Wonderful. Submitted Discord app. Oh, yep, I can approve it. The Discord app there is to try to keep the riffraff out of the Discord. My family is all freaked out thinking AI is sentient. I tell them all the time it's just a program. It's fancy autocorrect. Yeah, it's people like I just listened to the podcast that Jensen Wong was on, Joe Rogan's podcast, that episode. And even Jensen had to like clarify because Joe wanted to like start like imbuing. He basically started to talk about the AI like as if it was like a sentient thing. And then Jensen was like, wait. There's just a lot of math in here, a lot of multiplication and adding, a lot of multiplication and adding, you know? So it is funny that people, but that's human nature, right? Human nature is to anthropomorphize things. We do it with our dogs. We love to like imbue inanimate objects with a soul and a mind. And while I do think that LLMs do a really good job of mimicking human behavior and human speech and human language, yeah, I don't think I don't think LLMs are how we get to AGI, you know? And there's actually the head AI guy at Meta actually left recently. Meta AI chief leaving. His name's like yeah, Jan Lee Kuhn. He was on the Lex Friedman podcast last year talking explicitly about how LLMs are not the way they're not the way we get to AGI. That there's stuff missing from these transformer models. And now I think he left though. I think he just left. Yeah, here we go. A pioneering AI scientist leaves Meta. So it'd be interesting to see where he lands at next, and to see it'd be really interesting to know what researchers are focusing on beyond large language models, because there's got to be people doing work to further AI that doesn't have to do with LLMs, and I'd be curious to have more coverage or reporting of that. Floaty devs. I don't think AGI is really a thing. Really? You don't think there'll ever be some piece of software or some machinery that simulates real general artificial intelligence? Unique, yes, they did studies, and people believing AI is really bad for them psychologically. It can have serious effects. Well, yeah, and there's all these lawsuits, right? Let's see, people suing OpenAI. I think there's a class action lawsuit actually against them. Yeah, November 6th. So this is pretty recent. Saying they've been driving people to commit suicide. Yeah. I mean, it's terrible. Some of the stuff that people are. I mean, AI is great. LLMs are great, right? But like, there's obviously something up for a subgroup of the human population. Interacting with these models can distort their minds, can warp them in a way that's not good for them. Ashido, I work on ANN and CNN, so I have a basic understanding of LLM model working. Oh, fantastic. What is ANN and CNN? Are those types of neural networks? ANN and CNN? Artificial neural network and convolutional neural network. Oh, nice. So you're in the machine learning field. That's very cool. Yeah, that's actually, if I had to pick an area of like computer science or an area of study that I'd like to learn more about, it's the machine learning space. I think though, I think I need to go back and lay some more math foundations down, because it's been 10 years since I was in school. So I think I need to go back and maybe lay some, or at least if I was to start learning more about machine learning, I need to also, and just how machine learning and deep learning and all these different fields are being used to develop AI. I think what I need to do is I need to go and learn about them. But whenever I come to a spot where I feel like I don't have the prerequisite knowledge or skill, I need to like back up and go deep on it and then come back. That's how I felt. That's how I felt going through this book this year. I've been through this book like twice this year, and that's how I felt. It's like, well, this is very interesting. It's given me a good mental model, but to understand some of the complex math in there, I think I need a stronger background. What do you think the device that OpenAI and Johnny Ive is working on going to be? If I had to guess, it's probably something. It's one of two things. It's either something like the Humane Pen, or it's a headset. It's probably one of those two things, if I had to guess. I think Johnny Ive has even said Johnny Ive next device. I think he said the next device would be like a handset. It wouldn't be a handset. I thought he had said something like that. But yeah, I think it'll either be some sort of headset, like some sort of glasses wearable, or it'll be something similar to the Humane Pen, which was a complete flop, as I understand it. Shuto, it is part of deep learning. ANN and CNN is part of deep learning. Nice. Okay. Unique UX. Nah, bro, you can't science a soul. See, that's the piece that I had another thought. I don't know about you guys. How many of you are in the developing? I would guess a large portion of you write code or in development or programming, but there's this huge pressure right now on developers and programmers with all these AI tools, right? There's all this agentic and AI powered tools being shoved onto developers, right? However, what's interesting is there's another profession that's very tangentially related to what programmers and developers do for work, and that is writers, right? Like writers and developers, fundamentally, they type letters on a keyboard and convert that into text in files, right? Now, what is done with those files, the two diverge there, but that's fundamentally what they do. And it's interesting to me that the writer community, you don't have this huge pressure, or at least I don't see it. I don't see this huge pressure on writers to be supplanted with LLMs, right? Like I don't see people that are like itching like for LLM written novels or a series of novels, at least at this point. So it's kind of interesting to me that like one class of work we've kind of deemed as like non-creative and soulless, and so therefore we should destroy it with the use, or we should not destroy it, but we should replace it with AI. And then we have this other similar work that we decided, oh no, that's creative and that requires a human being and a soul. So we're going to leave those folks alone. I also think there's some fear from the AI industry in general of fucking with any kind of creative field. They don't want to get mired in like lawsuits and stuff, probably. I don't know. I was just thinking about that the other day and thought it's kind of interesting. It's kind of a weird dichotomy. I tried Claude Code, not gonna lie. It's very convenient to have an agent that can directly edit your code. Laugh my ass off. It's the in my opinion, sorry, I read that as LMAO. In my opinion, it's the best usage of AI to automate boring or trivial process into and enhance your workflow. That's valid. Super valid take. Do I think the device will flop or will OpenAI win? I think it is going to be, if their device is not a headset or a pair of like smart lenses, I think it's going to be very hard to supplant the phone, right? Like I think the only compelling alternative to device to a phone is probably some sort of wearable AR tech that has very good haptics and very good like usability with your hands, right? Yeah. So if it's a pin, if it's some sort of pin or like wearable thing, I think it flops. If it's like some incredible headset that is paired, it basically I've always thought like you basically want the Meta Quest, but in the but in the form factor of their Ray-Ban style smart glasses. That's what you want. You want the capability of the MetaQuest, but you want it in a form factor that's comfortable to wear and carry around and use. If they did something like that, I could see it being a real winner. But as I understand it, the technology to do something like that is pretty hard and pretty far off. Like there's some breakthroughs that you need on like the material science side of things to make that happen. Pablo, it exists, yeah. The pressure is shit faster. Unique X. Yeah, I'm primarily a writer, lead writing teams for university apps. I've definitely lost work from AI. All the low-hanging fruit is gone. Fair enough. So, but like, I don't see people like trying to, like, I don't see somebody trying to be like, well, we don't need J.K. Rowling anymore, or we don't need J.R.R. Martin to finish the final Game of Thrones book. Let's just take all the existing Game of Thrones books and let's feed it into the AI and let's just create the final book ourselves. Like, I don't see people doing that. People still want to read George R.R. Martin's work, right? So it's kind of like, why is one type of text typed into files seen as creative and one is not? And because I don't feel that way about programming and coding. I think programming and coding is a very creative endeavor, and you can definitely, when you interact with software that someone cared a whole hell of a lot about, you can definitely tell versus software that was thrown together. That's is my take. Floaty devs, dude, wearable tech is trash. The only wearable tech I've ever used, like, for a long time every day is a smartwatch. I've had an Apple Watch for a long time, and I appreciate that for like tracking workouts and timers and getting information at a glance, but that's really all I use it for. Two-man army. And Sam Altman we trust. I'm telling you, I wouldn't work for Sam Altman. That guy seems like a snake. Like a snake in the grass. The way he talks, his mannerisms, the way he actually but behind this, I think this is my beat on Sam Altman. I don't know Sam Altman, never interacted with him, but this is my read from him based on watching him in interviews and hearing the stuff that people write about him and the things that like Ilya Sutskever said in those depositions that were released. The take I get from Sam Altman is he presents himself as very non-threatening, hushed tones, slouched, posture, crossed legs, very thoughtful, speaks very quietly, very measured. But operationally, I think he's kind of a snake. Like, I think he wouldn't think twice about doing what is necessary to advance himself over you. Which, I don't know, that's probably not someone you want to work for. What is the anti-Sam Altman slander I see from Everton? It's not just you. Well, it's not even. Maybe Sam is maybe he's a super nice human. Like if you were married to him, or he was your dad, or like maybe he's a super nice human being. But in a business setting, he seems like he is an operator. Like he knows how to run a business, and he does it in a very cutthroat way. He's very ruthless. He has an agenda. The only, and I don't take issue with any of that. What I take issue with is him presenting himself as something else, right? So it's like he took over Zuck with the most hated guy in the Silicon. I think so. But doesn't it? I mean, he presents himself as like, for example, OpenAI the company, right? OpenAI the company. Remember, OpenAI the company was about advancing artificial intelligence and making it available to the world for a greater purpose, to make the world better. It was all this. It was all about being altruistic. That's what it was. Then all of a sudden, in a year or two, like from 2022 to now 2025, the whole script is flipped. Now it's about valuation and money and profitability and how do we make money off this thing that we have. Nobody's talking about making AGI available for the Yeah, then bill were due. That's right. That's 100% right, man. And so my problem is, if that's the case, just come out and say it. Just come out and say, like, yeah, we changed our mind. We want to make money off this. We don't care about the well-being of others. We just want to cash in. Like, just come out and say it then. Don't try to, like, hide it in flowery, hushed, soft tones of altruism. They literally flipped the thing. They did. They did. They did. And so and I don't have I don't have a problem with people changing their minds. I don't have a problem with people being cutthroat or ruthless or making crazy um, crazy business decisions. I just think it's disingenuous when you say one thing and you do another. When you get up in front of a room and you state some glorified mission, but then your actions don't align with your words, that's when my alarm goes off. Like, ding, 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 ding. There's something here. Something's not right here. When your words and your actions become incongruent, there's something going on. That's my take. It's all about profit. Ashuto, you're not wrong. I just want people to say it's all about profit. I don't want you to sit there and tell me that, well, we're on a mission to change the way people live, work, play, blah 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 bullshit. I'd rather you just say we're on a mission to make the most money we can possibly make. And how we do that, we don't care. I'm just worried about AI tech being elitist and not available equally. I have a coworker at work, Unique UX. That's actually his biggest. That's why he doesn't like AI. Is because that's his concern. Is that AI will become a force for an ever increasing equality gap, which it could. I don't know. It could. Two-man army. Where do you see OpenAI in 50 years? I think I think at some point OpenAI gets forced to sell themselves. Like, I think their capital draw is just too big, and at least here in the U.S. we're gonna be due for a cycle at some point. Like, we're gonna have a bear market, and things are gonna get rough here in the States at some point. Like, we're just due. It's the way things work, and I don't think OpenAI is capitalized well enough to survive that. And so I think they would end up having to turn to a Microsoft or a AWS or somebody, an Apple, and I think they would end up having to be acquired to survive the downturn, in my opinion. Unless somehow their revenue changes very significantly in the next few years, I think the first downturn that we see in the U.S. economy, things will get real interesting. I think the AI space will shrink, consolidate. Likely Google and Microsoft and AWS will emerge as the companies that have AI offerings because they have the capital to support the losses that are required to train the models, and they also have the capital to survive negative outcomes in the economy at large. And then they also have the capital to go to market to bring all that technology and actually turn it into product. So I imagine at some point it's like OpenAI powered by something, or maybe it's just a wholesale acquisition of some type. But I don't think OpenAI becomes like a standalone. In 50 years, I don't think there's like an OpenAI publicly traded company. Blame Tim Cook. If Jobs was alive, he would have just bought OpenAI. Yeah, he would have done something. He definitely would have done something with the whole AI thing. Mercy hedging. Hello, Mercy. How are you? Good to see you. OpenAI will be eaten by Microsoft and Anthropic by AWS or similar. That's so, Pablo. I have a Discord conversation with two of my coworkers from maybe 6 months ago, where that was the exact prediction. That was the exact conclusion all of us arrived at, which was Anthropic, or AWS buys Anthropic and Microsoft eats OpenAI completely. And our hypothesis is that happens as soon as capital gets scarce. So as soon as stocks in the U.S. tank, and there's some big event, there'll be some big event. It'll be something like COVID, right? It'll be something in the world at large that completely shifts the ground underneath us, and then then they're gonna need money, and they're gonna have to turn to the companies that have the money. Yeah, exactly. It's gonna take some time, 100%. But it's gonna it's inevitable. Like I continue to put money into my investments every month, and I know at some point all of my investments are going to get halved by 50%. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to tank. That's the cycle. That's the way the stock markets, this way equities work. And when that happens, there'll be a consolidation in that space. What would happen to Sam? I don't know, but I think Sam would do just fine for himself. He seems like a guy who knows how to position himself to win in just about every scenario. All right, guys. I guess it's Friday. So first of all, it's Friday. So let's clap it up. We made it to Friday. Woo woo. But I do have to work. I have to finish my work day. So I probably need to go upstairs and get ready and see my family before they head off to school. I had to make a new Discord just to. Oh, for sure, man. You're in. You are approved, Kyle. Boom. He's a product seller. He can sell the next bubble. 100% he can sell the next. Yeah, Pablo, you're 100% right. He's a survivor. Like, he excels. What's the plan for the weekend? Nothing. Yeah, nothing at the moment. I need to go get my son a new basketball. He starts basketball practice next week, and so he needs a larger basketball. So I imagine we'll go do that at some point. As far as like YouTube stuff, I'll stream. I'll be here in the mornings. Saturday and Sunday morning for a bit. I don't know. We don't have any plans, so I'll probably go a little later on Saturday and Sunday morning. We'll do admin of code and then probably spend some time working on that Stripe integration project I talked about. I actually started using this it's called Fizzy. It's made by 37 Signals. Let's see if I can get signed in here. It's actually a pretty cool. It's like a Kanban board, but it's actually pretty fun to use. So I started using that to plan out the project. But I think that's what we'll do this weekend. We'll do admin code, and then we'll work on this guy. I'm gonna call it grounds for support. So it's like basically, like coffee grounds, like buy me a coffee. Play on words. Get it, guys, get it. But yeah, it's pretty fun. So yeah, we'll probably do that this weekend. Advent of code. Add AOC all weekend. Yeah, advent of code all weekend. Write some code, build some projects. W Sun, W basketball. Yes, excited for basketball to start up. It's been nice being off from football. We had football this fall, and that was 3 nights a week for a couple hours. So it's been nice to have a break, but it'll be exciting to get back into the swing of a sport. All right, guys. Let's see. There's 21 of us. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me to the very end and sticking with me through my Advent of Code challenges. Grounds sounds like funds as well. Yeah, exactly. So it's a play on words. So that should be fun. I'll probably get started with that this weekend. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna head off. Let's see. Let's do our normal wrap up. So if you want to interact with me or chat outside of stream, the best place to find us is Discord. And I'll put that in the chat there for you. If you want to know when to come back, if you're like, hey, I kind of fuck with this guy, I'd like to come back, hang out with his chat and his community and his stream, you can find us here most mornings from 4:15 a.m. Central Time to about 7 a.m. So I try to get out of bed at 4, give myself 15 minutes to like brush my teeth, comb my hair, kind of put myself together somewhat, and then hit the desk. On the weekends, I'll usually go a little bit later. But either way, if you see me live, even if it's just for 5 minutes and you want to stop in and say hi, I would love to hear from you. It's always fun to have repeat viewers like Kyle or Unique UX and Pablo and all these fellas. So if you see me live, stop in and say hi. Otherwise, I wish you guys the best of Fridays. And if it's already Saturday for you, because time zones are kind of weird that way, I hope you have a great Saturday. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning. And if I don't see you in a stream, then maybe I'll see you in the comments of a short or a video, and we can talk there. All right, chat. Bye, Floaty Devs. Bye, Pablo. Bye, Shuto. Bye, Two Man Army. Good luck with your project, man. Wish you all the best. See you, Born to Shine. Good to see you, man. Thanks for being a member. Appreciate you. Appreciate all my members so much. It's crazy that people would be willing to be a member of my channel, so thank you very much. Who else is still here? Floaty Devs, Two Man Army. I think I got everyone. All right. Bye, chat. Bye. Bye. See you guys.